I didn't mean to do that, my friend. So let me just say this.
No, go right ahead.
The power of the black church. If we cannot rise in a time like this, we were never going to rise. This is a defining moment, not only for black folk, but for clear-thinking white people. This is our time. And I'm not going to be an Uncle Tom preacher who received my resources from black folk and scared to set up for black folk. The devil is a liar.
I salute my frat brother, and I greet my frat brother. I was trained as a church historian. I am revolted and disgusted by the son of a man who condemned other folk and then did the same thing himself. I will not be lectured by the great-great-grandsons of white preachers that told black folk slavery was ordained by God and you ought to be happy to be a slave. I will not be lectured and taunted and dismissed by white preachers who refuse to understand my dignity and my culture and only want to recognize me when I emulate them. The black church at its best has always been an institution for liberation of black folk and all folk. Our doors have always been open to anybody who wanted to come in. Our faith has always been about love, about loving folk enough to hold them accountable for their disrespect of God's creation of black folk. I serve a God who created me in God's own image and gave me the right to decide what I would do with my life. I'm grateful that I had a praying mama. I'm grateful I had a father who was light-skinned and decided he was going to continue to identify as a black man because his daddy was the only black person in the town he was raised up in upstate New York. I stand in a tradition of black folk who lifted black people up because they understood the God they served was concerned about who they were. I serve a nappy-headed, bronze-skinned Jesus
Here in North Africa,
who died on a cross that I can have life more fully. And I will not allow somebody who denies the truth of the matter. He would rather have somebody with 34 felony convictions for an innumerable number of other court cases waiting on him, who has been sued over 4,000 times in his lifetime, who gets off a bus, talks about putting Tic Tacs in his mouth and grabbing a woman in her private parts. That is what he wants as president? We may disagree about abortion. I've been in ministry for 63 years, Roland. I've never told anybody to have an abortion and never told anybody not to have one. I've explained to them the consequences of both and told them, you need to pray, go to your God, ask your God what you ought to do because you're the one that's going to be accountable for whatever you do. And if your God says it's all right, then you do that. Because they don't even understand that in Orthodox Judaism, the child is not a child until they're born, until they are birthed. There are other traditions that honor life in different ways. And you, with your male self, want to dictate to a woman what she can do with her own body?